Hey, what's already? Welcome back to News Dose, and well, we just got some breaking news, albeit this very well might be some of the most unsurprising news all year long. Yes, Grand Theft Auto 6 expectedly got a delay yet again, and really quite significantly at that. Here's the thing though, I also wouldn't be shocked if the new release date doesn't hold up either, and we're getting all of that today. The reason that it was delayed, why this is unsurprising, and also just my general thoughts about what this means for not only this game, but just for all gamers and really for the entire game industry as a whole, because there really is a lot to unpack with this announcement. As usual, though, we do have a lot to get into, but first, I do want to thank my supporters on Patreon and on YouTube memberships. Thank you just so much for what you do, and you will receive this video through early access. Let's go and get right into things, though, starting off with actually another delay. Apparently, that's just a theme today, which includes Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. You can see their full announcement here, which reads, "At Skydance Games, our goal is to deliver unforgettable premium games that honor the characters and worlds we're fortunate to work with. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra is an ambitious project, and we are committed to ensuring it meets the level of quality that our team, players, and fans expect. To fully realize our vision for Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra, we've made the decision to shift our release window beyond early 2026. And that's what stands out to me about all of this. Not the delay itself, but the fact that they didn't give a new timeline at all. Now, I'm assuming that they're still shooting for 2026, potentially late 2026, but at the same time, with recent news about GTA 6, I mean, it might not be a bad idea to be a little bit fluid, is all I'm trying to say here. I mean, we'll talk about that here in just a bit, but whatever the case may be, Marvel fans will have to wait a bit longer for Marvel 1943. Now, for me personally, I just want to see gameplay. Cinematics don't really do all that much for me, and that's really all we've seen so far from Rise of Hydra. Now, let's got an update for Pokemon Legends ZA. They just dropped a new trailer for its upcoming expansion titled Extra Dimensions, and I'm actually not going to show that on my channel. The Pokemon Company can be a little bit weird when it comes to their newest trailers. They do tend to copyright their stuff for like the first few days, but more or less, the new DLC will focus on the legendary Pokemon Hoopa. They also showcased 2 new Mega Evolutions, which I can't pronounce their names, so I'm not going to. But I think the big thing that this trailer revealed is that for the first time ever, we'll actually be able to go beyond level 100. In fact, it kind of seemed like they were emphasizing maybe increased difficulty, which I actually view that as a great thing. I mean, Pokemon fans for years have been begging for the difficulty to be ramped up, and while this isn't necessarily a hard mode option per se, it still at the very least has potential to give a similar effect. It will launch though on December 10th, which personally, I really don't like. I mean, this is a Nintendo game after all, and Metroid Prime 4 will be out just a few days prior, so I don't know how to feel about them, potentially taking the shine off of each other, but what I will say is that I might actually buy this DLC. I've really enjoyed my time with Legends ZA, and I mean, the DLC actually does look pretty good. And I don't typically buy DLC for games either, but this could be one of those rare exceptions. Oh, and Square Enix talked a little bit about their shift to multi-platform. I mean, for years, they were kind of an arms-for-hire type of company, and not just for Sony, despite what a lot of people online believe. They also made a lot of Nintendo exclusives as well, but they are seemingly doing away with that strategy going forward. They just revealed this multi-platform table, which says, under the multi-platform strategy, multiple platform expansion projects for existing titles have been launched since fiscal year ending March 2025, steadily advancing the expansion of the fan base for each IP. And it's that line right there that I have specifically talked about on the channel multiple different times. If you're a longtime viewer, you know that it is something that I have stressed time and time again. Square Enix, in my opinion, has hurt franchises like Final Fantasy by making them exclusive, not only for the short term, but also for the long term, because they haven't built their fan base the way they should have. Now there's this huge part of the gaming community that just aren't acclimated to franchises like Final Fantasy. I mean, sure, PlayStation consumers understands why it's a special franchise. But at the same time, PC gamers don't, Nintendo gamers don't, and neither does Xbox gamers. They ignored all of those communities for years and years, and it's also why I've been telling PlayStation fans specifically that you should not be upset about losing an exclusive like this. You should be happy if you like Final Fantasy, because this is better for that franchise. I mean, look at what happened to Persona 5 as one such example once it went multi-platform. Now all of a sudden it's one of Sega's most successful games, really on a yearly basis. That game just continues to sell, and hopefully games like Final Fantasy will see a similar result. Oh, and speaking of multi-platform, Dispatch may be heading to more platforms sometime here in the future. This game has actually been a big-time success. I believe it's already topped 1 million units sold, and I mean, it's only been out for a few weeks by this point. But yeah, if you haven't heard about this game, it's a new interactive adventure from some of the same people behind the old Telltale games. You know, games like The Walking Dead, which are widely considered some of the greatest games for that specific genre. And I mean, so far it seems like they've done it yet again with Dispatch. It's reviewing very well with an 84 overall score on Metacritic. It's got a 94% approval rate on Steam, and it's also selling extremely well for this specific genre. But its one problem is that it's currently only available on PC and on PlayStation. According to their new Discord post, though, they said, will the game come to other platforms? Our initial focus will be on supporting the game on Steam and PlayStation, but we're looking into additional platforms as well. So, I mean, it seems highly likely that it will eventually come to other platforms like Xbox and for the Switch 2. I mean, honestly, I feel like the Switch 2 specifically would be a fantastic platform for a game like this, but yeah, hopefully it won't take all that long. I'd like to see maybe a 2026 launch, but hey, we'll see what happens. All right, now let's just go and get into the breaking story of the day, because as expected, Grand Theft Auto 6 has once again been delayed. You can see Rockstar's full announcement here, which says, "Hi everyone, Grand Theft Auto 6 will now release on Thursday, November 19th of 2026. We are sorry for adding additional time to what we realize has been a long wait," and that is putting it lightly here, "but these extra months will allow us to finish the game with a level of polish you have come to expect and deserve. We want to thank you again for your patience and support. While the wait is a little longer, we are incredibly excited for players to experience the sprawling state of Leonida and a return to modern-day Vice City." Now, here's the thing. When they originally announced a May 26th release, there was just one thing that was stuck in the back of my mind, and that was that the first time they gave a release date for fall of 2025, there was reports that the employees at Rockstar never believed that they were actually going to hit that release date. Now, when they eventually announced the new release date of May 26th, you know, that's something that stuck with me, because what this kind of tells me is that there is pressure for Rockstar to hit a date that they might not necessarily believe in. Now, ultimately, they delayed it again, so, you know, Take-Two isn't enforcing the matter at hand, but this still tells me that these release dates are coming from Take-Two and not necessarily from Rockstar. So, in other words, I wouldn't be all that shocked if they don't hit November as well. Yeah, I know people aren't going to want to hear that, but I'm just saying 2027 doesn't seem all that unlikely to me. Now, hopefully that doesn't happen, but, you know, if it does get to that point, you know, could it also just launch as a part of next-generation consoles? Maybe the PlayStation 6 will be out in late 2027, and if that's the case, I mean, you never know. But the thing that gets me about this delay is really just the wait time. I mean, I feel like GTA is one of those rare franchises that can get away with something like this, just because, truthfully, no matter how long it takes to make or whatever budget it has, no matter how ridiculous all that might sound, they're still going to make all of that money back, plus plenty more, because this game will sell record-breaking numbers, and of course they know that. But if this new release date sticks, and that is still an if, but if it does, then it will have been 13 years between the release of Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, just to put that into perspective, the first GTA, released back in 1997, And then over the next 16 years, until 2013, they released a new mainline GTA game on average about every 3 years. Yeah, GTA 1, 2, 3, 4, Vice City, and San Andreas, some of the all-time greats, released during that time frame. And this is something that I don't like about modern gaming. I mean, we are now at a point that a game like this takes so long to make that we might have started the franchise back in, let's just hypothetically say, in high school, and then by the time the next game releases, I mean, we're in our 30s. You know, that's crazy to think about. It really wasn't all that long ago when we could get multiple game releases in a single generation for a specific franchise, including Grand Theft Auto. But now, we're lucky to get one game per decade for some of these franchises. I mean, you can take that however you want, but the other thing about this delay is that this does have massive ramifications for the rest of the game industry. The thing is that we had previously heard that multiple publishers and developers were avoiding to release their games anywhere close to GTA 6 because they were afraid that their game would be overshadowed. So with this news, we could see two different things. One is that early 2026, specifically when it comes to May, could open up a lot more with, several more game releases. And then number two, next year's holiday could be a little bit more barren than usual. Usually the holiday period is fairly stacked. But we could see a lot of games next year skip November and maybe even potentially December as well, and then just release their games for early 2027 instead. I mean, for that matter, I'm actually curious if Activision keeps their typical release schedule for next year's Call of Duty. Now, they were overly confident this year against Battlefield. They made that abundantly clear, but GTA, that might be a whole different beast, and if anything, it'll be interesting to see how they play next year's holiday period. Now, my guess is that they'll just simply plan to release in October instead. But yeah, I think this delay will have some major ramifications just across the entire industry and how games are released and when they are released. Let me know what you all think about this delay, though. 1, are you disappointed? 2, do you think it's ridiculous that it's been 13 years between mainline GTA titles? And do you think that they'll actually keep their November release date, or do you foresee yet another delay again? Anyways, though, that's going to be it for this episode. But until next time, make sure to subscribe, ring that bell, and peace out.